standard action genres that comprise the bulk of what we see on game consoles have been evolved over the years. Arguably, the change began when platformers went 3D with the release of games like Super Mario 64. But it's only been over the last few years that developers have tried to break away from 3D updates to 2D classics and embark into all new territory. Capcom helped redefine the action genre with the release of Devil May Cry, which provided the same sort of twitchy, combat-filled experience as the other games before it, but with its keen focus on playing in a stylish manner, it added new depth to what would otherwise be a pretty standard experience. Capcom charged out into interesting territory again last year with the October release of Viewtiful Joe on the GameCube. The game takes your basic 2D beat-em-up and turns the premise upside down with interesting new twists and turns. Now, that GameCube game has found its way to the PlayStation 2, and its surprisingly compelling gameplay holds up just fine. If you missed the story the first time, here it is in brief. Joe's girlfriend Sylvia was captured by villains when the movie they were watching suddenly came to life. Joe is faced with living out his superhero fantasies in order to rescue his girl from the clutches of evil. Of course, being a superhero wouldn't be much without superpowers, and fortunately Joe has these in spades. He learns his most useful power first, the ability to put the game into slow motion, allowing him to unleash some spectacular combos. He later learns the ability to speed up time, performing blindingly fast attacks of punches and kicks, and the ability to zoom in, which freezes enemies in their tracks and allows Joe to pull off a few unique moves. These powers aren't limitless, however. Accessing any one of them will drain his visual effects, or VFX meter, and if it's ever depleted completely, Joe will temporarily lose his powers as he reverts to regular old Joe. Fortunately, the meter refills on its own over time and can be expanded through the collection of items strewn about the level. Also over the course of the game, you can upgrade Joe with new moves, as well as expand his life bar or enable him to refresh his VFX meter at a higher speed. These upgrades are purchased between levels with currency that you earn by pulling off stylish combos. Standard punches and kicks offer a low payout, but dodging an attack in slow motion, knocking an enemy into the air and then kicking another foe into his cronies will deliver a much richer reward. Learning how to apply combos such as this one, especially when the game is tossing more than a handful of enemies at you, can prove to be the game's biggest challenge. That, in addition to the difficult boss fights, deliver an action experience that will keep fans of the genre coming back for more. One of the biggest additions to the PlayStation 2 version of the game is the addition of Dante, the star of Devil May Cry. While his appearance is a neat little nod to the quintessential stylish hard action game, he plays just like any other playable character in the game, with very little that sets him apart. There's an additional super easy, sweet difficulty setting, but that's really all that differentiates the two versions of the game. Viewtiful Joe plays like a 2D action platformer, but the graphics are all executed in 3D with a unique cel-shaded look. Each character in the game is haloed with a thick black line, making them look like they were drawn in a comic book rather than rendered in a game. The levels all feature a movie-set facade look, which only serves to heighten the image of Movie Land, which is where the proceedings of Viewtiful Joe take place. The sound in the game complements the visuals to a T, from the whoosh of entering slow-motion mode to the sounds of gunfire and combat. Viewtiful Joe was impressive when it first came to the GameCube, and is every bit as impressive to this day. If you've worn out the original version, there really isn't enough that's new here to warrant a second purchase. However, if the PlayStation 2 release is your first opportunity to play Viewtiful Joe, there's no reason to feel short-handed. This version is every bit as solid as the original release, and the extra additions only serve to fortify an incredibly solid action title.